About a Dog Man, uh, the new movie based off the Dave Pilkey books, and the books that I grew up reading. Um, this stars Pete Davidson, Ricky Gervais, and there's a tiny voice cameo in here. It's like a few lines, but there's a tiny cameo in here from Christian Shaw as well. And if you're wondering what the plot of this movie was, as much as I will say I did enjoy and like it, I can tell you I have no idea what the plot of this movie is. This movie does try to cram the plot of 8 books into one movie, and the whole thing felt like I was babysitting a 7-year-old with extreme ADHD, which fits because Dave Pilkey has ADHD, and there is a character in this movie and the books named 8DHD. So I guess that's on brand.
So, that is something that you already hit on it that I was going to say, is that they took an entire series of books. Me and you used to read them together when you were little.
I read them.
Yeah, and you had the whole collection, and you know, as a parent, when you're sharing books with a child, you kind of get into it. But one thing that you touched on that I noticed was, yeah, they took an entire book series and tried to cram it into one movie. So it felt very much like that they took this and how do we take this 8 books and push it into one maybe 2-hour movie. Actually looking at it, more like an hour and a half movie. So,
well, most kids' movies are an hour and a half because you can't really keep kids in a theater that long. Across the Spider-Verse was 2 hours and a half, but that's half a kids' movie, half just a Spider-Man movie. So that's a little bit different, you know?
I will say the movie did follow the books very well. If you're a parent who's read these books to your child, or a child who's read these books, then one thing I will tell you is that if it does follow the books, same story, whatnot, it just kind of rushed and crammed. I mean, you'd be better off reading the books.
There felt like there were scenes missing in this. Like there were full-on scenes, like scenes. Like this felt like a movie that had an hour cut from it, and it didn't. But it just felt that way. It felt like a movie that there would be an extended cut come out when it came onto Blu-ray, which is not going to happen. You know?
Yes.
I will say, because these are kids' movies, but they're not just kids' movies. When I say these, I'm talking about this and Captain Underpants. The Captain Underpants movie, which I do think is a better movie than this. I think I enjoy the Captain Underpants movie more because that movie, I think, felt more cohesive.
Oh, yeah, the Captain Underpants was absolutely a better movie.
If the Captain Underpants movie feels a lot more cohesive in the story it's telling. Because the Captain Underpants movie isn't trying to adapt all 12 Captain Underpants books. That would be a nightmare. Especially if, like, Captain Underpants, just to go on a rant about an entirely different book series, it has, like, lore. It has, like, serious, like, lore and, like an ongoing TV show. So, like, adapting all 12 Captain Underpants books into one movie would have been insane. So that movie mostly just stuck to adapting the first book and the 4th book. But in that, it just kind of meshed those 2 books together.
Yeah.
This felt very much 8 books squished together.
Yes.
But anyway, so yeah, these are kids movies, but these are also kids comedies. Both of them are designed to make kids laugh and maybe even make parents laugh.
Hey, it had its funny parts.
And that's saying, I think Captain Underpants, I was laughing more consistently through that one, but I would say that this one has good jokes in it. It helps that a good portion of the cast of this movie are stand-up comedians. Pete Davidson is, of course, SNL and stand-up. I mean, he's not on SNL anymore. He left recently, but he's one of the biggest comedians of all time right now. And then Ricky Gervais, a comedy veteran, creator of The Office UK. That helps a lot. Just that you have actually funny people voicing characters here. You know?
Yes.
there's a line in this that felt very much improvised by Ricky Gervais. It did not sound like a line that would be in this movie, and it sounded like something out of like The Office, the British Office, or like I've seen like his stand-up specials. It felt like a joke out of them. It felt maybe even a little bit too dark for the movie that it was in.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
I didn't see a lot of darkness in this.
No, I'm just talking about that one joke that wasn't that dark, but like dark for this, and was clearly an improvised joke by Ricky Gervais that they kept in because it was funny. It felt like something out of something that he would have made, something he would have done. It just didn't sound like the type of jokes that were written for this movie.
Yeah. But I mean,
I will say the fun. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, if one thing about it, if you're a fan of any of these books, I mean, you'll enjoy it. I mean, as far as I would say, you're just as well, or probably not just as well, probably better off to just read the books. You're going to get a better story, and basically, you're going to get the same story.
I feel like this sense of humor not only lends itself better to books, but also would lend itself better if they were going to do an adaptation of this. Would have led itself better to like 7-minute cartoons. There is a short film, an animated short film before this based off the Bad Guys. It plays before this, the other movie DreamWorks did.
And that looks interesting. I mean, all those movies are, the Bad Guys movies are pretty interesting.
There's only one.
Okay, well, it was pretty interesting.
And then they did a Christmas special on Netflix, and now there's a sequel coming out. So DreamWorks is really trying to make that their next multimedia franchise. But like this would work. I feel like Dogman, if they were to do a adaptation, it would work better if they were like 7-minute shorts that could play before movies, like Looney Tunes cartoons. That almost feels like it would fit better.
Yeah.
Just because this sense of humor is so rapid and, well, to put it simply, kind of Tex Avery-ish. It would just work better that way. So, before we move on to the other section of the video, to finish just the movie review section of this, my grade for this is a B-, and I think I gave Captain Underpants a B, just to compare it to the movie that's most tied to it.
I would be tempted to agree. C+, B-. I think I'm in 100% agreement with your rating actually on this one.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, because you will usually criticize celebrities that aren't well known for voice acting, not because I think you can't, be an actor or a stand-up comedian and also be really good at stand-up. At voice acting. That's not true at all. There are plenty of very talented performers that can do both. Kristen Shaw is one of them. She's a live-action actor. She does a lot of voiceover, obviously, and she does stand-up. So you can do all three. But Pete Davidson, for somebody who the only other voice acting credit he has to his name, I'm pretty sure, is Marmaduke, honestly did a pretty good job. And so did Ricky Gervais, where I think the only other animated thing I've seen with Ricky Gervais was that animated Samurai Blazing Saddles remake.
Yeah, what was that called again?
Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Moving on to the next section, we gotta talk about the trailers we got before this. Snow White. That looks like shit.
I don't know about that. I mean, the dwarves that was CGI. No denying it. I mean, absolute CGI, noticeable CGI. So I guess if it's noticeable, you would call that bad CGI. At least from the preview.
I thought it was funny how, I know this is going to sound bad, I thought it was funny how much that movie from the get-go is trying to be woke. which makes it even funnier that the same day that comes out. So we have one Snow White movie that's going into one extreme, that's going into the left extreme, the ultra-liberal extreme. But on the same day, Ben Shapiro has his Snow White movie coming out, which is going to go hardcore into the other extreme. So the same day, two political parties can pick their Snow White movie. I love it. I love that so much. And here's the thing. Here's the wild thing about both of them, okay? They're both going to suck. You can't... nobody should ever go so far into either extreme when making a movie. A movie is designed to be a movie. I just think that's hilarious. I started bursting out laughing. Like, one of the first lines in the trailer is something like, "Oh, well, you're too much of a strong female role model to do this." And I bet the next line, there's gonna be a line like that, if the trailer's even dropped for the Ben Shapiro one, that'll be like, "Oh, well, you're just such a dumb slut who should go back into the kitchen." I bet...
Okay, so then there was a trailer for a movie about the life story of Jesus.
With animation that looked like it was generated by AI. And I thought, oh, so this is like an obscure Christian movie. In 2017, so almost 10 years ago, there was this kids movie that came out called The Star, which was about the birth of Jesus, but from the perspective of the animals. It looked very similar to that. It had Oprah and Tyler Perry in it. And a lot of black people in that movie.
Did you happen to catch what the name of that movie was?
No.
I didn't either. It comes out on Easter Sunday. I mean, that's its launch day.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. By the way, what I say, there's a lot of black people in that movie. I don't mean that as a bad thing. I just mean there's a lot of I'm talking about The Star. There were a surprising amount of famous black comedians in that. It's just kind of something you notice. It's a weird thing, because they had Oprah, who is a terrible person in real life, and Tyler Perry, who is a good person but makes terrible movies.
Don't hate Tyler Perry movies.
I hate Tyler Perry. I hate the Madea movies.
Oh, they crack me up. The last one where Mr. Brown lit himself on fire, trying to grill out. I was rolling.
They should have killed off Madea and a Madea family funeral like they promised.
But anyway, getting off topic.
But yeah, we got that, and that just kind of looked like... That didn't look like it would be like The Star because the animation was so bad where there would actually... And The Star, I think, was Sony Pictures Animation, or a legitimate animation studio made that movie. This one, it looked like... It looked like it's... The animation literally... I'm pretty sure that animation was generated by AI. So it's this doesn't have a wild... this isn't good. And then, they started... did the cast list, and it's Mark Hamill, Pierce Brosnan, amazing actors in that. Why? I mean, I know Mark Hamill, I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill is a religious dude, and that he is a Christian. That's why he did, even though this is a good movie, Joseph King of Dreams.
Is that what the name of it was?
No.
Oh.
Joseph King of Dreams is a movie from it's kind of it's when DreamWorks, the company that made this movie, still made hand-drawn movies. So they did that, Prince of Egypt, and The Road to El Dorado, which two of those are religious movies. Anyway, Prince of Egypt is actually a great movie. The Prince of Egypt is a better Moses movie than the Ten Commandments. But he did that, so I know Mark Hamill was religious, and he somehow seems to be able to be a huge Democrat and a huge Christian at the same time.
I mean, a true Christian, true Christian wouldn't have a political affiliation. We'll start with that.
What if that movie...
But it certainly wouldn't be a Trump affiliation.
What if that movie... Here's a theory. What if the reason that movie has so many celebrities in it, it's not actually them? They used an AI to recreate their voices?
Because their names are in the credits. So
it looks like they used an AI to create the animation.
They would at least have to get that actor's permission if they're using their name in the credits.
Yeah, well, Mark Hamill's not gonna say no to a couple extra money, dude. Anyway, we got that, and then we got the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake.
Look, the original
Is from
How to Train Your Dragon movie was wonderful. Some of these live action versions of some of these famous animated movies, to me, are cash grabs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess we'll just see how that plays out. And, if it is a good movie, then the ratings will show that. But I still feel cash grab. I mean, when I saw the preview, that was the immediate thought was this is a cash grab.
Then we got the new Pixar movie, Elio.
Well,
Lilo and Stitch live action.
Again, cash grab.
And then we got, right before the movie, we got the short film for the bad guys. We got the short film. That was a pretty nice short film.
It looked interesting.
I wish there could be...
Makes you want to see the movie, which is, well, guess what? That's its intent.
Yeah, because the Bad Guys Part 2 comes out later this year. I mean, I'm of the opinion that not only should all animated movies, but all movies, I think, should have short films before them. We need to bring that back. It doesn't need to be an animated short film either. Just they need to have a short film in front of them. I hold that opinion.
Sure.
That was one of the few good things about Joker 2 is it had a short film in front of it. Technically, that short film was part of that movie, but it worked well on its own too. And it was honestly the best thing in that movie, apart from Tim Dillon's one good scene. Yeah, so that's about it.
All right, guys. I guess we're signing out. See you at the theater. Like and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.